hard to tell if I'm still living in or crawling out of hell. I'm just a man, just got my story to tell. You got ears to hear, I hope you listen well.
Yep. yeah. What's up? Gotta get myself comfortable. What's happening? What's happening? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to this Friday edition. This Friday edition. BS with B Hannas. That's me, Nikki B Hannas. Make music, talk some shit, write a little bit. It's my little YouTube morning show. Successfully hitting 3 days this week for the first time in motherfucking months. So that's a win. The whole premise of this show is I like to wake up and take a good walk, read some good stuff, talk to the people. I'm going to get down here and go lift some weights and then go to work. Run my life, man. Run the program. And ordinarily, I would say welcome to this fine Friday edition. I don't feel so fine today, man. I don't feel so fine today. Let me check my audio. Yeah, see, I figured the fucking audio thing out. It was a little... there's a... Right in front of my face, there's a measure if it can detect my audio or not. But yeah, man, so fucking we all know what happened the other day. It's dominating the culture right now. The fucking seemingly the assassination on Mr. Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. This shit's horrible, dude. That's fucking like the only, in my view, that's the only appropriate response to this. And of course, and I've talked about this very often, the overarching theater of politics and the drama. We were all in the fucking, I don't know, opera house as it is, as the show must go on. And there's so much bullshit with all this political discussion. There's so much fakeness. There's so much posturing. The whole political thing is like super, I don't even like using the word toxic, but like this is what I've learned in my life, at least. There's a point of diminishing returns on one's natural patriotic inclination to do something about it, so to speak. You see wrong things. Well, I got to do something about it. Too often that turns into posturing Facebook posts. Too often that turns into just idiots like me on a microphone on YouTube talking shit. Too often it turns into like just indulgence in the cycles. This fucking telecommunications based, internet based mind control that we all participate in. When something happens, anything really, and the outrage cycle starts and we all start feeding into it, we consume that and we then give back to it, the fucking outrage. It's a feedback loop, whether it's positive or negative. And what I've observed a lot of times is that it turns into people patting themselves on the back and self-congratulating themselves and doing that fucking stupid ass, I told you so. If only you'd have listened to... And there's a lot of truth to a lot of this shit, because the whole political culture right now does matter, especially now, in my opinion. To fucking say that this country is not... A lot of people now are talking about war. We've been talking about war, though. Civil War, we've been talking about that. World War III, we've been talking about that. And my thought is that, motherfucker, it's here. Like, it's been here, too. We've been in the midst of it. It is a childish way of thinking. This is not Star Wars. This is not a fucking movie where all of a sudden the war begins. You know? It's just, that's not the case. This is just symptoms of it. Even it's like being sick. And in my view, this world is fucking sick. The fucking country is fucking sick. And those, just because you don't have symptoms, if you're asymptomatic or the symptoms aren't significant, one day it turns out, it fucking just erupts, it boils over. Then you have it. And then you're fucking debilitated from the sickness. That's how I see it, at least. You know, wars are not hot from the start. They are often cold. And then they warm up and they warm up and they warm up and they warm up. And you're a motherfucking frog in a motherfucking boiling pot of water. You turn your head and it's fucking, you're done. You're done. And that's what I'm thinking about Rest in peace, fucking Charlie Kirk, because this shit is terrible. I was not and am not necessarily a big fan per se of Charlie Kirk or of Turning Point USA, since he's the right wing, and I ostensibly am the right part of the right wing. Naturally, there's a lot of agreement, but that's okay. Like that, I don't have to be a fan of somebody. I never liked the idea of just owning the libs as being, your call to arms, because there's a lot of that in the self-congratulating bullshit. When you see Donald Trump pointing out the hypocrisy of the left and the hypocrites of leftists, it's like, dude, you control the levers of fucking power. You need to do something about it. How much are we gonna just point the finger and blame and point out? Can you believe the double standard? This is what the fucking double standards get us, though. So this is where I'm tripped up in my own fucking thinking. This is where I'm tripped up in my own fucking thinking. Because whether you like it or not, what Charlie Kirk and Turning Point were doing was they were going to college and they were all about the debate. Whether you think the debate is corny or not is an aside. I tend to think it's like, maybe just because I'm a dickhead and I've moved past the need to have a debate, the need to have a free and fair discussion of ideas with people that are not free nor fair, the need to have a public discourse where we can foster ideas and welcome the opposition who doesn't welcome you. And you get this. Now, it's a fucking dude, is 31 years old, assassinated on live television, live streaming. I mean, shit. I got a couple texts in a couple different group chats, and I open up Instagram thinking, well, I'll get the news. And the first 5 or 6 things was like a public fucking execution. That's fucked up. That's like the most fucked up thing you could think of. I struggle to think, unless I witnessed it with my own 2 eyes. And I'm out here in the suburbs. I wasn't there, so I didn't see it. But there were people who were there who did see it, who then have to carry that weight the rest of their motherfucking lives. Fucking dudes, children and shit, bro. Like, it's fucking evil, evil shit. And it's now it's its own like existence because it happened. It's fucking out there, and it's horrible. It's fucking like it can't be undone. And now the drums of war are being beaten again, and everyone is compelled to feel a certain type of way, and you feel how you feel. So it's really, to me, I wonder if I have audio. There were 2 people in there. To me, it's a question of, all right, so we feel what we feel. And those feelings, in my view, are extraordinarily justified. Rarely are feelings justified to this extent. Righteous anger, righteous being wronged, justified want of retribution and correction and, justice. But what do you do? What the fuck is there to be done about it, really? All right, cool. I do still have audio. That's the question right now. I guess, what is there to be done about it? Because in the response of it, you're seeing, there's an old tweet of Charlie Kirk that's going around when he's like, you can tell a lot about somebody by how they react to someone else's death. And that is extraordinarily poignant right now. I don't personally know too many people who are in a state of rejoicing about it. But I see a lot of people, most people I fuck with, people that I really roll with, that I'm tight with, that I'm close with, are like shook about this. They're justifiably like, this is fucked. Something's got to change, dude. Something's got to fucking give. Because it's even putting aside the fact that the man is younger than I am, executed on the public stage for the whole world to see, symbolically, even if it's just only symbolically, even if it's only a measure of what it represents, those things push the world's narratives just as much as anything else, more so than a lot of it. I think back to 2016 when, the orange man was running for president the first time, and it galvanized people. It motivated people. It had this massive, massive ripple effect. And with any kind of ripple effect come very unintended consequences. And something I've learned is that unintended consequences are the drivers of history far more than intended actions. Whatever the intended of doing something is, that comes with a lot of stuff that fucking just rolls with it. And that's what you actually end up having to fucking deal with. So I don't know, man. I don't know that I feel scared necessarily. Why should I? I try not to believe in fear. I try not to indulge in fear, but I would be lying if I said I'm not like primed. I'm like programmed now to be ready, just looking, just hyper vigilant for what the next thing is. What's the next escalation? Is there going to be in this world stage? Is there going to be, some kind of clapback, so to speak? Eye for an eye. Is that how this is going to go? Is it going to be a massive wave of people turning the other cheek? Motherfucker's been turning the other cheek for a long time. What is there to actually be done? And then if there is something to be done, what is the route of, like, what action do you pursue? Do you rally on the street? There's a lot of people I've seen online rallying at college campuses and having vigils, demonstrating, collectively organizing and making the statements known. And that's good. That's got its place, just like it does even when these crazy fucking lefties do it. It has its place, but what it accomplishes, I don't know. I don't know that it accomplishes anything necessarily more than a symbolic act. And so what do you do with the symbolic act? What change is actually enacted by a symbolic act? I'm not too sure of that all the time on a regular, semi-frequent, semi-casual basis. All these acts of symbolic defiance, all these acts of symbolic, thoughts and prayers. This is why people mock thoughts and prayers. This is why. I don't mock thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers fucking is what the universe is made out of. That shit's real and that shit's powerful, but this is why people mock it. What actual boots on the ground level change does it actualize? Not always that much. But the symbolic act of martyrdom, however, seems to actually be a massive conduit to massive change. And what that looks like makes me nervous. It's weighing on me. It weighs on my brain. It weighs on my heart. It's how I was over fucking COVID, because I'm looking at the obvious heist from the powers that be. I'm looking at the obvious boot on the neck from the fucking powers that be. I'm looking at just an unleashed, blatant form of fucking oppressive tyranny happen in live time. And granted, I'm drinking my way through it. I'm smoking weed through my way through it. I'm putting powder on my nose to cope with it, to get through it. Shame on me for that, But like, I watched that happen and it fucking felt like a weight. I'm watching my country on a macro level, generally propagated through screens, through the telescreens that Orwell fucking warned us about, that we now have parasitic relationships with. But I'm watching that happen and it's like, fuck, dude, what's happening out here? What's going on with my fucking country? What's going on? If it's happening in my country on the macro level, what does that have in common with what I see on the street on the micro level? That's the fucking great dichotomy I think a lot of us are working through. That's what I'm working through, Because when I took my walk this morning, it was a beautiful fucking morning. Beautiful. Nice cold autumn breeze coming through the air. There's foliage starting to happen. I'm waving to my neighbors, They're waving back at me. Hey, good morning. How you doing? I'm all right, man. We're just out here doing it. We're out here living. We're out here, I'm out walking and exercising first thing in the morning. I'm out reading books first thing in the morning. I'm going to go to the gym and get stronger first thing in the morning. I'm going to go be productive at my job that my boss relies on me for, that customers need me for, that my coworkers need me for. I'm doing all the right motherfucking things. And on a micro level, how much of it is just indulgence in the miasma that is projected trauma, projected evil? Because I don't really see too many people in my real spheres of influence that would cheer this shit on, but I see them online, and these people are fucking. What do you call it besides evil? What do you call it besides evil? Celebrating a fucking thing like that. These people are they're the ones that would join the mob that drags the motherfucker through the street. And it's tricky intellectually. Intellectually, it's tricky, because it's, what does the Constitution say? We ought to protect our country from any enemy, foreign or domestic. And nobody knows right now who killed Charlie Kirk. And if they know, they ain't telling. But a lot of people are jumping to conclusions very quickly, And I don't blame them necessarily. Even if I disagree, I don't think we should do it. Because when it comes out, how do we even know to trust what we're told? They're going to give us information. How do we know it's real information and they're not fucking lying to us more? Like, this shit's just fucked up, dude. It's just fucked up. It's like it's like over COVID. And then after COVID, here's the event that happens that people are militarized by and mobilized by and galvanized from. So now I'm watching, on the news, riots in the city of Philadelphia, the closest city to me, let alone whatever happened in New York or LA or Chicago, whatever, all the things that people cite and quote and reference very often. Watching it in the midst of political turmoil that is more like the Hunger Games and the Boys. This is the Capitol and Vought more than it is the fucking United States government. It's it's travesty, man. It's horrible, horrible, horrible shit. So I don't know what's there to be done about it. I guess this is where we apply stoicism to the best of our abilities, not the docile, meek, do nothing. Because I don't know what there is to be done. Certainly, it doesn't mean go commit counterterrorism, But to say that's off the table would be just inaccurate. Not for me. Fuck that. I'm trying to build a life for myself. I'm not fucking gonna go to jail for a cause. So maybe I'm a fence sitter in many ways. Maybe I'm too moderate. This is stuff you read about in history books, man. We fucking grew up. Excuse me 1 second. We fucking grew up in the shadow of, not even in the shadow, but grew up in the era post civil rights, post Martin Luther King, post JFK, post RFK, post fucking Malcolm X. What was it like to just be a man trying to work and make a living for yourself, being downwind of this news, being downwind of this massive stage that dominates everything? I don't know. It's terrible. It's terrible stuff. And of course, yesterday was 9/11. And then there's that whole thing with the Ukrainian refugee on the bus, stabbed by some dude. Like, what the fuck's going on? And then there's 2 fucking school shootings in the same week, and it's 24 years since 9/11. Like, the country is fucking bleeding out, dude. It's fucking terrible, and it's gonna create it. I'm very apprehensive about what it's gonna create and what's gonna happen next, and what there's gonna be to have to react to. I don't know that there's a proactive thing to do. I'm not primed to go, like, what am I going to go do? It's any hasty decision is just dumb. It's just stupid. And I guess I don't know. It comes down to us, but what the fuck is that? What's the role of us? Do I throw my cell phone away? If I get off of Instagram, will that fix the problem, or will it just make me uninformed? I don't know, man. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible. And while I wasn't a huge Turning Point fan or anything like that, like I said, I guess I underestimate the role of what they did for like the young people, people on the colleges. I got a couple young bucks come into work within the hours or so that this shit happened the other day. And the first thing they said was like, yo, did you see what happened? And they were like visibly moved by it. These guys are like 20, 21, 22. Yeah, I don't know. What comes next is the fucking mystery. Whatever comes next probably won't be good. So I guess we all just better get fucking ready for it. Brace ourselves and keep doing our things. I mean, that's the only, I'll tell you this, writing music and putting music out right now, to me, it feels very cheap. It feels very like ineffective. It feels, even on my good days when I'm like, no, there's a lot of meaning in this. This is something worth doing. I have to keep doing this. It's fulfilling. It's positive. It's good for the world. Right now, I'm like, what's the fucking point of strumming my guitar around? Again, I think back to the stories of even Vietnam. It's like, here's all the music that defines the era. Well, motherfuckers are dying in a jungle across the world somewhere. I don't know. I guess we steel ourselves and try not to give into pessimism more than necessary. Try not to give into nihilism more than necessary. Try not to give into despair more than necessary. Try not to give into anger more than necessary. Try not to give into rash, emotional, hasty responses. But like, it's fucked up. It's like so fucked up, man. And that's like my only real response to it all. You know, dude had a wife and kids, public assassination, fucking terrible. But I'm not the most equipped to discuss all the inner workings of the politics of it. I'm not going to be here and moralize the whole thing. Anything I'm saying is everyone that I listen to, people whose content I consume, fucking, they're saying the same sentiments. But it's terrible. It's a bad it's horrible. Probably the worst thing I've seen. You know, COVID at least was fucking subverted to the maximum degree. It wasn't. It was apparent to me, but I was crazy back then. So I was driven to madness to some extent as people were going along to get along, giving a little bit to, just do what they got to do, complying a little bit just for the greater good. What's the fucking greater good of this? The only reasonable response is righteous anger and outrage and doing something the fuck about it. But that's still the wrong thing to do. So what's the right thing to do? Yeah, I don't know. It's complicated shit, man. Complicated, disheartening stuff. But at the end of the day, the fucking world metaphorically keeps turning, As the world turns, so we go. So we're fucking out here just doing the thing, dude. I guess it comes down to being good to your people. And, for me, it's like I need to take everything. I already have been told I take things too seriously. Lighten up. There's a lot to be said about that. But I mean, I don't know. These feel like some serious times that we're in. This feels like some serious shit that we're in. Some serious shit could just pop off at a moment's motherfucking notice. You want to have a good time, you end up unprepared. That's why I drank my way through fucking COVID and didn't use my voice or fucking do anything to actually change that shit, I ended up complying too, and that's a fucking, I don't know, it's a mind fuck. My mind feels fucked by it. It feels heavy. So, whatever. Right now, not whatever to the issue. I don't mean to, we ought not indulge in apathy either. I feel a type of way, a major type of way, but there's an overarching kind of confusion there when you're compelled to act by rationality, but that same rationality kind of binds you into inaction. So I guess it might just be wise to wait for things to come out, wait for information, wait to see, and do what I can, where I can as I go. But I don't know. It feels like I don't know how to even fucking say it. It feels like it would be self-scarring to see this and go negative, which almost doesn't make any sense. But to witness this kind of shit and just go purely into living in the shadow of your own rage, that don't seem like the way to honor the man. That don't seem like the way to honor the quote unquote right wing movement. Charlie Kirk, whatever you think about him, thought about him, whatever. I mean, what I saw a man that was working his balls off, that in many ways changed the world, that was a voice for a lot of people. He was doing the right things. He always talked about the Bible a lot, talked about God a lot, talked about his faith in his faith in the magnificent name of the great King Jesus Christ. He fucking talked about that all the time and wouldn't back down, despite the fucking social bullshit and negative headlines and whatever. And like I said, I mean, my politics are a little bit different. I guess it might be worth noting what I'm thinking right now as I'm thinking about it. Whether I disagree with debating college students on college campuses as if that's an actual way of change. I guess we're about to find the fuck out. And that's just what it is. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if that's a good message or not. I don't know if that's a worthwhile reflection or not, but it's my real reaction, my real response to all this stuff. Disagreeing with someone so they get fucking made to be an example of. Yeah, it's someone in the chat. Major shift in the political climate. Yeah. I mean, and it's already been massively unstable and volatile and looming around the edges of violence. And you don't get any more violent than this, really. Really. Not when you see it, not when it's one person. What's the famous quote? One person's death is a tragedy, a million is a statistic. So as the snowball fucking picks up steam and accumulates, I don't know. It's all fucked up. It's all fucked up. So this is where it is, I suppose. Time for me to go. I gotta go fucking work out. I still gotta go to work. I still got bills to pay. Shit, I got paid today and I lost most of my money to bills. Such is life. Such is life. A fragile thing. It is a fragile thing and it's not always enjoyable, but we gotta do what we can. So that's my message for today. Fucking yeah. I don't even want to plug my shit. I don't even want to plug my shit. Happy Friday. Let's fucking get some. Let's be better. You know, I guess in the wake of terrible, evil, horrible horrors out there, what's the only real response is to be a better example. So that's my takeaway at this present moment. Be a better example. Do your thing. Fucking A. Enjoy this Friday best we can. Surely the news will be full of things today to speculate on and ponder. So we'll deal with that as it comes. Keep it real. Nikki, be honest. I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace.